Okay, welcome to the latest video where we turn the knobs on high-end equipment in a home studio setting. Today we're looking at the Neve 1073 OPX. If you want to just hear how this thing sounds, skip ahead in the video. There's plenty of that. We're going to be recording drums through it, bass, and acoustic guitar. On drums, we're going to do a couple different gain settings. So I'm going to record it like normally, and then I'm going to really push the preamps all the way into clipping, just so you can hear how the preamps respond to that. And on all three instruments, we're going to compare the Neve to my R&D 511 preamp. So you can just kind of see how it stacks up against another preamp that I use. If you are wanting to learn more about this unit or you're thinking about buying one, just check out the whole video. I'm gonna walk through how I have it set up in my studio, how it's useful to me, how it sounds, and what I think about the unit overall. Spoiler alert, it's pretty awesome. I have been really enjoying this thing ever since I got it. Right away, I was impressed with the sound. But what has kind of surprised me is how much I enjoy the remote capabilities of this thing and how beneficial that is to me in my setup. So I have my studio set up in my house, and I have the tracking room downstairs, the mixing room is up here, and traditionally I would play some drums, come upstairs, adjust the preamps, make adjustments. I'd go back and forth a few times until I get it right. But I didn't realize how much that was actually holding me back doing that, because it's just so hard to get like perfect levels doing that, and it just kind of takes your time away from the drums. So now I can control this whole 8 channels from my drum set. I don't even have to leave the throne. I can turn on and off phantom power. I can control all the gain and everything for all 8 channels. It's been a total game changer for me. It's been a game changer. Overall, I think this thing gives me a really good sound in the studio. I know there's a lot of debate online about whether this should be called a 1073 preamp because it doesn't have the 2 transformers. It just has the 1 input transformer. Still, I think this thing sounds really good. It, to me, sounds a little warmer than some of my other preamps, like the 511s that I'm going to be comparing it to, which I find to have a little more scooped mid kind of sound, where the Neve 1073 OPX I find to have like a warmer mid range. It's very detailed, it's very clean, and it's useful on anything I throw at it. I don't necessarily prefer it on some of the drums. I do like it on overheads though. I like it on condensers in general. It seems to kind of like mellow them out a little bit in a way that I really like, and it's very natural sounding. All in all, I love this thing, and I love running anything through it. I'm curious what you all think about this, so I'm gonna let you all hear it and let you decide for yourself. So let's dive in. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to show y'all the Neve app here. I have it added to the taskbar, so let's just click that, and you'll see it click in here. Boom. So you saw it find the unit and match all the settings, and you can watch on channel 1 as I turn up the gain and turn it down. It mirrors it just like that. So it works really great. Honestly, I've never had a problem with it. Once I got it set up, IP'd, you hit scan network and it found it right away. And I haven't had a single problem with it on my network ever since. So that's it. Okay, got my laptop, got TeamViewer open here. And let's just open that back up to where I had it. So we got our studio computer right here from my tracking room. I'm going to be on channel 1 here. I could hear it actually clipping before I saw the red indicator on the Neve. So again, the indicator gives you like a vague idea of where your signal level is at, but you really need to kind of record or at least monitor really well before you can see exactly where it needs to be. Still, It's pretty sweet. I'm all set for congas now. So let's give it a go. Let's do some congas here. Okay, so let's dive into the drums here. So I have a kick, snare, and 2 overheads. So let's go through these and listen to the low gain, the what I was calling medium gain, which is actually pretty hot. Lastly, over here to the high gain settings, where it's basically just clipping. But just enough to not completely ruin the sound, although it did hit the kick drum harder than the other tracks. So we'll hear it in the overheads a little bit. We'll hear it completely, the bottom end will just fall out of the kick drum, but we'll see how that goes. Let's just listen through and then I'll start soloing tracks. Okay, I was soloing the snare there at the end, and you can hear how it's adding that distortion to the snare. It's giving it that little bit of crack. It's breaking up a little bit. One thing I've noticed that's interesting with that as well, that a lot of people are utilizing more, I hear more people talking about this lately, is compression through distortion or gain or saturation. So if you listen, you can really hear a compressed sound and you can actually see like a compressed sort of looking signal on this. I mean, with the snare, look how it's basically cut off. Where these, let me pull this back down. You have a lot more variation. This is like totally clipped off here. And then this one's kind of in between, still pretty clipped off. But you can see we're getting compression through that saturation or that clipping in this case. It's kind of interesting, and it definitely changes the sound in that way as well. So it's not only changing the sound of the snare when it's like clipping that preamp, but it's bringing up everything else, the quieter sounds underneath it. So this isn't like something that I would normally record, like, oh, I'm going to clip my preamps to get that awesome sound, especially on this unit. But still, it's interesting just to hear how these preamps are reacting to the different gain settings. So let's go back, let's solo some of the other stuff, and you'll hear some of that compression here as well. Let's do these overheads. Yeah, that's where you hear that bottom end just completely fall out of the kick drum. It's a totally distorted sound. I would never use that or want that. But you can just hear how those low frequencies are really like overpowering when we turn that up. So the high gain settings obviously is not a typical use case. Let's check out the medium settings. I'm gonna compare the medium, which is still, like I said, you can see it's kind of clipping, to the lower gain or the more like optimal gain settings, just to hear the difference in what the preamp's doing here. So you can hear that medium, even the medium gain setting is still clipping it off pretty good. It's breaking up, and it's not a sound that I would ever want to really go for. So that aside, this is basically the sound that we got with the drums. And let me just play this again. So this is the like optimal gain setting where nothing's clipping. Let's check that out. And I feel like this is a really solid drum tone. I like what we're getting from this. A lot of low end. I feel like the overheads are pretty clear. You hear that separation in the stereo pretty well with that. So I have no complaints. Now, this is where it gets a little more interesting. So let's compare this Neve 1073 OPX drum sound to the same thing ran through my Portico 511 Rupert Neve Designs preamps, and let's check this out. So I'm going to go back and forth. Now, this is a difference that I notice, and I'm curious about what you all are hearing in this difference as well. The Portico 511s are a preamp that I hear people hate on a lot, and I have always enjoyed mine. I've always really liked them. Next, let's check out bass, and then we'll check out some acoustic guitar. Okay, so now let's look at bass. This is going to be upright bass. So this is the 1073 over here. This is the, we have the Portico 511 right here. All right, so let's check out this bass. So upright bass is interesting. It's running through, you know, he's really walking up and down the fretboard there. So we're hearing like the range of frequencies. This is just through a mic. I muted the DI just so I didn't want the balance to be different on one versus the other. But you can hear a little bit of a difference there that I'm going to talk about more in a minute, but I'm curious to see what you all thought about that. If you heard a difference, if you liked one versus the other, maybe you heard a difference that you liked more, or maybe you liked one more and you didn't necessarily know why, but it just sounded better to your ears. So I'm curious to hear that. Now, on that bass that we just listened to, that's Bern Cly on the stand-up bass there. Phenomenal bass player. And here is guitar, acoustic guitar. And for this one, just to make it a little more consistent, I had two KM184s as close together as I could possibly get them on the same take so that I can switch back and forth rather than me trying to play as more consistently than maybe I'm capable of on acoustic guitar. And I'll reveal after we A-B them which is which for this one. See what you think. So yeah, I definitely hear a difference there. And what's happening here is the top one is the Neve 1073 OPX, and the bottom one is the 511. Okay, so thanks so much for checking out the video. I'm really curious to hear your all's thoughts about which unit you liked more, the R&D 511 or the 1073 OPX. If you liked the 1073 OPX, if you had any questions about it. Personally, I still like my R&D 511 preamps, and there's going to be times I reach for them before I reach for the 1073 OPX, but the 1073 is going to see a lot of action in my studio for sure. It's clean, it's detailed, it sounds great, and it's really easy to use. So it just improves my workflow, and it sounds great. I mean, there's never going to be a problem running something through that unit for me. It's a great addition to my studio. So again, let me know your all's thoughts on this as well. One thing I've learned doing these videos is that you all have been actually providing a lot of good feedback in the comments, and there's been things that I've learned and picked up from you all, as well as, you know, me hopefully providing some information from my point of view. So I feel like it's definitely a two-way street. And I really encourage you all to comment your thoughts on these videos and what you're hearing and what stands out to you, because sometimes it's kind of eye-opening for me to get your all's perspective on that. That being said, thanks for checking out the video. I'm going to close it out with me playing drums on all 8 channels of the 1073 OPX. So we're going to hear like kick, snare, overhead, overhead, tom, room, and then a bottom snare mic, so that you can hear how all 8 channels sound all together. And the audio that we heard so far was pretty much just raw audio, because I didn't want to beef it up and EQ it and everything, so that you all could just kind of hear how it sounds naturally just through the preamp. What I'll do on this closing set is actually mix it a little bit more, so you can hear how it sounds with a more finished sound. So thank you so much for checking out the video, and I'll see you on the next one.